You know what, guys?
May the Challenge Fandom podcast continue to be absolutely.
That's right. You've reached the Challenge Fandom podcast. You've got myself, Ricky Hayes, my beautiful wife, Corrina Hayes. We've got Tony, Stats, and Infolance. That's a 2-for-1 for y'all. And then we've got Josh motherfucking Chambers. It's the OGs in the house. We're here to break down season 41, Vets and New Threats, episode 13. They're like cockroaches. That was my best Tony Montana. Don't make me do it again. I don't want to, okay?
I don't want to.
Look, we've been gone for 2 weeks.
We're so sorry.
It's been a lot. We're in the middle of launching a new channel. Some of you guys have probably noticed. We've been posting about. It's called Hazed Reactions. We'll have it linked below.
Yep.
But what's going on is we're kind of branching out to more than just a challenge. The challenge will always be a part of what we're doing, but we want to do more than that. And so we can't really do that with a show called the Challenge Fandom Podcast. So, we've already announced this previously, but this season will be the last one under the Challenge Fandom Podcast title.
Yeah.
It's all getting moved over to Hazed Reactions. And we will finish out this season on this channel.
Yeah, it'll be right here on this YouTube channel. Everything will look exactly the same and be exactly the same all the way through the final of season 41.
And then with that being said, it's not like we're like, hey, now we're fucking done with the challenge.
We're gone. Bye.
When a new season comes out, we will be recapping it, reacting to it, even doing interviews. It will just be under our other channel. So it'll be like Hazed Reactions presents Challengers Unplugged with, Tori Deal, for instance. Oh, whoa, baseline. Whoa. With that being said, we wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. We'll have everything linked below. If you guys have questions, hit us up on IG.
Go follow us. Go subscribe over on Hazed Reactions. Go follow us. Right now, we currently are running through Rick reacting to Taylor Swift's new album, The Life of a Showgirl, which has been an absolute awesome journey. However, if you're not a Taylor Swift fan and you're not about the Taylor Swift stuff, still go over and subscribe and then send us a message with what you want us to react to, listen to, watch, whatever, and we'll do it. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to do. That's the new format. And like you said, we'll carry the challenge on, when they do have new seasons in the future, if they do. If they do. But yeah, we want to branch out, but we want you guys to join us. So go follow us on IG, TikTok, YouTube. Everything will be linked down below. And send your requests in. Yeah.
And last but not least, nobody's leaving. Tony's going to be there doing reactions with us. So is Josh.
Katie's back.
Katie's back over there. She did the Taylor Swift video with us.
Yep.
Alexis is coming on too.
Yep.
So, but it's going to be different rotations. Sometimes it might be Corrina, Alexis, and Josh. And then other times it'll be me, Tony, and Katie reacting to stuff. So you'll get a little bit of a rotation going. And then fuck it. Sometimes if there's a show we all want to talk about, it's going to be all of us. And it's going to be mayhem as always. Speaking of mayhem, let's not delay. First and foremost, like I said, last couple episodes, we've been kind of intermittent on. We had our mid-season recap with Alex. Unfortunately, our audio files corrupted, so we weren't able to get it out in time. And by the time we would have gotten it out, the next episode would have already dropped, so it didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then we recorded.
That one's just for our hearts.
Yeah. If we ever decide to totally walk away, we might just release it unedited.
Along with a lot of other shit.
Yeah. But with that being said, we recorded the following week. And then last week, I looked at Corrina. I wasn't feeling that great. And I let the guys know. And I was just like, dude, we're taking this week off. I need a break.
It's been a rough little change of the season. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm overcoming my little herpessyphilades cold sore here on my nose. I get them every year on my nose, and this year was really, really bad though.
That shit on your lips got some shit on it.
Shit on its lip. I know that. And you know what? I just want to start off by saying, if I see any comments down there making fun of my herpessyphilades, if I see any comments down there making fun of my wonky eyeliner tonight, or if I see any comments, about my red lips and my green shirt, I'm coming for you.
It's Christmas here because she's getting a present later. Okay. You just laid that one up there, and I was coming in like Vince Carter, just You're not stopping me.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, I guess I did kind of ask for that one.
That's what she said. Anyways, let's get past the malarkey and get to the reason why we're here, which is to recap episode 13. They're like cockroaches. But before we do that, I do want to touch base on a few things that happened in last week's episode.
Yes, we have. We've seen your messages. We've seen your comments, guys. We know you guys want us to address a couple things that we missed during our time off. So we'll go ahead and do that first. And then,
Yeah. And look, I'm going to be honest. To me, the last 3 to 4 episodes have been the same episode, just with different people going against Theo and Adrian in elimination. It's the same shit every episode. Nothing's really changed.
Yeah.
So the things that we want to discuss first that happened on last week's episode was, is it just us, or is Turbo's confessionals making the overall show just feel more corny and cheesy? Yeah.
Like, is it just my dislike for Turbo that makes me feel that way? Or because like some of his confessionals and even this episode at the nomination when he had his little rhyming, roses are red, violets are blue, just 5 fingers, this one's for you, or whatever stupid shit. It's just, it just makes it corny. And then like, and I've said this earlier, I know I've said this multiple times on the podcast this season, is like, he consistently, like he had that one great moment with Pussy Chicken, right? And he consistently, it's almost like he's trying to outdo that, or like do it again, right?
You level 4 Pussy Chicken.
It's just lame, and it just comes off lame, and it makes the show feel corny and cheesy to me.
Well, it's who Turbo is, and I just feel like he's an older guy, and I get him, and I get. Maybe it's because I'm an older guy.
I think it's just like, and maybe it's also because he's an actor, and I'm very well aware of it. It just feels like he's acting like he's trying to make it into a show,
like
but
he's
not a
on.
real life show. Like, you know what I mean? Not just real life. It's like he's trying to act certain things out, and it's like nobody's
not who you really are, bro.
No, he's a caricature of who he was the first time that he played. And he's never really moved past that. Like with a lot of other players, you see that growth, and it seems to be that that's what worked for him the first time. Yeah. So he just keeps going back to that well over and over and over again. And it's run its course.
Yeah. I mean, I think the word that really just kind of hones in on this to me is the word genuine. The people that are genuine on this show, that we get genuine views of who they are, and not all the time, but like CT, you get a genuine view of him. Same with Nani, Bananas, all the people that
names
people either hate or love, you typically get a genuine view. I don't feel like we ever get a genuine view of Turbo. We get a put out there view that he wants, that he thinks we want to see.
Yeah. And especially then we start hearing weird shit like we're hearing now. I know you want to get into that later. We'll get into that later. I'm just saying things.
Connections are being made.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Yep. Links are happening in my brain. So.
Anyway. Also, last week's episode, what are your guys' feelings on what Michaela said to Olivia during the daily, where she said she was gonna punch her in the face or some shit like that?
I'll punch her in the face. Yeah, that's what she said or whatever.
Do you think it was just Michaela just too in the moment, too hyped up, or do you think there's more behind it there?
No, I think that she's smart enough to not ever do it. She's also smart enough to egg someone on who's a strong competitor. But also, like, she made an offhand comment that Olivia happened to overhear, and then it just went back and forth from there. And I think that if Olivia wouldn't have spoken to it, I'm not saying that she shouldn't have, like, she was bad-mouthing Theo, Olivia stepped in, but if she wouldn't have said anything, that would have been the end of it. Like, it would have been a non-issue. It would have been an offhand comment that was never brought up again.
Yeah, but you could say the same thing, and Michaela just wouldn't have said the offhand comment, and Olivia would have never needed to respond. So, I mean, I feel like I see your point. I think that I do agree that Michaela isn't stupid enough to actually put her hands on someone where it would cost her money, because Michaela's made it more than apparent on social media and interviews that she's done that, yes, she doesn't mind making friends while she's there or enemies.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she sees this for what it is. And it's one of the reasons I respect her in this house is she is seeing it as a game for what it is and playing that game. And the end result of that game is to win and to win money.
Yeah.
And that's her goal. And she's not stupid enough to jeopardize that by hitting someone.
Right.
With that being said, I know when me and you watched it, as soon as she said that, I was like, if we were Olivia, we'd be like, do it, bitch. You ain't got the balls to hit me.
Yeah, you ain't got the
egging her
balls
on so quick, because that's just ears perk up. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm going to take out the strongest competitor without even having to go into elimination. I'm going to get you to hit me.
That's really what I took out of this moment. Like, look, I will say that in my opinion, Michaela severely overreacted, especially if what we're hearing is true about, you know, these little snide comments that Michaela's constantly like, yeah, you know, dropping around when Olivia's around, whatever. I don't blame Olivia for being like, fucking stop it, bro. Please just shut the fuck up, you know? And going from that straight to don't talk to me or I'm going to punch you in the face is asinine in my opinion. But I do agree that Michaela is not stupid enough to actually do something like that. But what I took away from this is, even though I know Michaela would have never actually done it, I miss the days when that was a strategy, when people looked at players like CT and said, I can't beat you in a daily. I can't beat you in an elimination. But you know what I can do? I can wait until you get drunk, and then I can get in your face and I can egg you on until you punch me. And I'll take that punch to get you out of this game so that I have a better shot at the final. You know, like I miss those sly OG, like even what Theo did, Theo's like whole, you know, kamikaze plan that he did to, who was it that he got to Gabe, right? Took so much heat. Like people were actually mad at him for doing that. And I'm like,
great plan.
Was such an OG way, an OG type strategy. And for me, like I miss those things. Those are parts of the challenge that I miss a lot. So that's more or less what I took from this. And then the last thing I want to say is, honestly, like I think the fans are overreacting a bit. Look, one of the biggest complaints that I see in this fan base is that the show is boring now. There's no more fights. There's no more parties, all this stuff. But then when we have moments like this, y'all get online and you just bash Michaela, talking about how she's a horrible person, terrible person, all of this. And it's like,
yeah,
the fans are ruining this show, honestly. And this moment proved that to me. And that's what I took from this. And maybe not ruining it. Okay?
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
It's a little strong. That's a little strong.
I think you have a predisposed view on this because of what you deal with on a daily basis.
I do. But I'm just saying that I think that fans are overreacting. As much as Michaela overreacted to Olivia in the moment, fans are overreacting to Michaela.
I do agree with that. 100%. Yeah.
I went a little strong with the ruined.
Yeah.
Okay. Really.
You came in a little hot on that one.
I did. I came in a little hot, but just, man,
to me, the big thing is, and I don't know if Olivia or anyone else there notices, but Josh, you played sports. Tony, you played sports. I'm fairly certain we've had conversations about this. But when you're playing sports, there are certain people that talk shit. And that's what they do. They like to talk shit. And that's how they get themselves going, right? The minute you're going against someone that talks shit and they know that they've pissed you off or you've wavered in the way you respond to them, they're going to go harder at you because they feel like they've broken you.
Yeah,
exactly. So when Michaela said that, when Michaela said what she said, to me as a competitor, if I'm Olivia, I look at that and be like, oh, okay, I know now. So now I just gotta push you, and it's gonna get you a little bit off your game, just a little bit, and that's all I need.
Yeah,
you know. But that's just me. And maybe Michaela plays better when she's pissed off. Who knows? There's different variations and blah 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 blah.
It's always a possibility.
The last thing I do want to bring up about last week's episode, and I actually want to get Josh and Corrina's take on this first, is what were your thoughts on the elimination of holding on to a log with a pillow and having to slap the other person? What was your thoughts, Josh?
Weak. I'm like, this is how DK's going home.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Yeah. But I mean,
it's going to be an old school pillow fight.
But people say, hey, we missed the old school challenge. So they gave us a gamey elimination that was very old school challenge.
When did you ever play this in a carnival?
When do you ever sit
American
down and
Gladiators?
slap each other with fly swatters or
Yeah.
drink milk and cookies and then spin in a circle to see who throws up first? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I get
on
it.
a treadmill
It's
smoking a
just-
cigarette.
when you've passed the halfway point and you've already done the mid-season finale, and this is the type of elimination's going to create who's going to go to the final next. No, I want to see something more difficult, more that's going to sit here and be like, you deserve to be here past this point. This is an early elimination for me. That's just my take on it.
I could see that.
I can respect that view. What about you? What's your thoughts?
So look, was the elimination stupid? Yes, it was stupid. Did I kind of enjoy the iconic stupidness of it because it did remind me of old school, fucking driving luges down the hill with fucking giant bobblehead, things going. And like I said, milk and cookies and the fly swatter elimination is really what it reminded me of. Just stupid
Big
shit.
Easy and fuck, what's his name?
Was it it wasn't Isaac, it was
Luke. Yeah, he was partnered with Evelyn on Fresh Meat too.
Yeah, it was Luke, and then Katie also was in it at some point right after she had got her freaking face busted open, her eye all busted. So it sucks. It sucks that Derek had to go home on an elimination like that. But I will say, like, that final sudden death round, Derek had the better opportunities. Like, Theo literally looked like a fucking giraffe with all its legs put on wrong, trying to get onto that damn beam. But Derek just, it sucked, but I also will say it was, as much as I do love Derek, but like taking my personal feelings out of it for him, it was kind of funny to just watch this man just get absolutely mollywopped over and over and over and over again. I was like,
where did we see this? This was a daily before too, and I just saw it recently because Marie did it. She was complained because she wanted to do it. It was Battle of the Seasons.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was a pillow, but it was something. Yeah, very simple. I remember the one too where they just had to hold and they had to try to.
It was the fish.
The fish. That's what it was. Yeah, where you had to slap each other with a fish and knock each other off. Yeah.
Yep.
So
that just happened to be on Pluto the other day.
It was dumb, but it was also funny. Sucks that Derek went home, but it was also funny. So I don't know.
What do you think, Tony?
It was asinine, but it's also the luck of the draw. You don't know what you're going to go into. We got some bigger eliminations early on in the season.
True.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit of a contrast. I agree with Josh. It is irritating that these are the decision makers for the final, but that's also true whenever they are in the season, is that they're partially the decision makers for the final.
Yeah,
so you still have to win elimination to stay.
Yeah.
Looking at it on paper, Theo shouldn't have won.
Right. No, he shouldn't.
No.
Because Derek's also lower to the pole. He's also doesn't have huge gangly arms and legs, but Theo is just able to maintain his balance better.
Yeah. I wish we would have seen Turbo against Theo in this elimination. Maybe Turbo could have gotten some pillow redemption at some point.
Turbo was so jealous. He was so pissed, dude.
You
He's probably sitting up there
life.
no, I'm the pillow fighting champion.
Sydney probably wasn't allowed to talk to anyone for 3 days after that. Look, here's my thing with the elimination. It sucks that DK had to go home because of this.
Yeah.
With that being said, no offense to Survivor and Survivor players. I like a majority of them. D is not one of them. I was happy to see her go.
It was very strange for me to go into the season looking at D as a very strong candidate for coming over from her season, including even when her season aired, and then ending up enjoying Sydney more than D on this season.
Yeah,
which is
here's the
very
thing.
strange.
I'm not a huge Sydney fan, but
competitively, I'm really enjoying her. I just don't like her ego. I don't like.
I would rather see Sydney back though than D.
Yes, agreed. 100%. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like we're ever going to get Sydney back. She feels very much the same as Danny McRae does about it.
Does
but
she?
Yeah. All right. So let's get into this week's episode. Look, the foreshadowing was strong in this one. Strong. We get the phone calls home and everybody gets a quick montage except one person. And he talks about how he can't lose, which means
he gets a confessional immediately after his call home saying, I can't lose. Okay, thanks, production. So that means Leroy's losing today. Thank you. I guess I don't even need to watch this episode.
Just knowing that it went from Leroy running the last part of last week's episode and then getting that fucking confessional first thing, I was like, motherfucker. I like Leroy and I like America.
Yeah. It was. I hate when they do this. Honestly, at this point, like, I don't know. I don't want to say stop doing the calls home because sometimes they're really cute and sweet, but I think this is only like the second time we've seen this at all this season. It's like, it's not like they're inherently needed, you know? So
we got to see Ryan.
It just gives so much away. Yeah. Watching Olivia and Ryan, that was very cute. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just switch it up on us. You know, focus in on somebody that doesn't even go into elimination.
Yeah, or that. Actually, like, why are we showing phone calls of people? Anyway.
Like, the Olivia and Ryan one was awesome, or you could have showed, like, Bananas and Wes, like, when they talked.
Yeah.
Those are
like,
cool.
if they would have just shown, like, Olivia and Ryan talking, and then maybe, like, Justin and his mom, because Justin and Nani ended up winning. So there was that would have been very cute, very adorable. Or even, you could have even thrown, who was it? Jake, who was talking to his dog. You could have thrown him in there too. You know what I mean?
But like, the moment you saw Cam and the kids,
I fucking knew. And it wasn't even seeing Leroy on with Cam and the kids. It was how long Leroy got on his family call, how much of it aired. Mm-hmm. And then an immediate cut to a confessional where Leroy's like, seeing the kids and blah, 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 blah reminds me why I'm here. And like, I just can't lose today. And I was like, so Leroy's losing today. He's coming in last place.
It's the same thing they do to Corey Wharton. They always talk about the stack of pictures he brings and shows a phone call home. And then he goes home that fucking episode.
On the episode, he goes home.
Every fucking season.
If they're going to keep using them, I think they need to be used either for someone who hasn't had a lot of screen time yet and you need to get a feel for who this person is, or if it's somebody who's like not doing so hot in the game and you get that like pep talk or whatever from whoever is on your list of people you can call. Those ones are fine. Those ones are great. But when you have the ones like Leroy where it just projects who's going home within the first 3 minutes of the episode, you don't need that one. And we're on season 41.
Yeah, exactly. You guys haven't learned?
Yeah,
figure it out. Get rich or die trying.
Exactly. Look, and here, speaking of titles, they're like cockroaches isn't really what this title should have been. It should have been the fucking episode of Dead End Storylines, because that's all this was. Like, the only other thing we get in the opening is how Will and Olivia are talking about staking a claim. They're both talking about it. So I'm like, oh.
And they talk about it all episode. Like, they literally drag this fucking storyline out. And for what?
And nothing happens. Nothing.
They're really trying to push Will. And I think they would do a much better job pushing Jake.
100%.
And
they got Wes behind it, though, on Twitter. So
for Will, is he a Will fan?
No, he's bashing. So he's getting that kind from Wes. So that's just going to give him more heat to be back on.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like, am I going to have to unretire?
Yeah.
Jake is a more compelling character.
I agree.
100%.
And
100%.
And he's just as good of a competitor, if you know.
And he brings a lot to the show.
He does. And the times that we've gotten Jake where he's not like necessarily giving a confessional, but just kind of having a conversation, you get him candid. He's funny.
Yes.
He's funny as hell. You know what I mean?
I enjoy him. Yeah.
All right, so getting into this daily called Haystack Heist. Look, to me, this proves what we've been saying, and one of the reasons I've said Survivor is better at things than the challenge is it once again proves you don't need explosions and cars and jumping off cliffs to make it an interesting daily. You just need people chained together, make them run moving hay bales and getting keys.
Yeah.
Compelling daily with a great fucking finish, and it probably costs them $300 to build.
True.
You know what I mean?
Minus like, man hours and whatnot.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
No, honestly, I will say this though. Great daily, not fun to watch though.
It was fun at the very end.
At the end, it was great. But it was just, I almost felt like they spent too much time. We didn't need to see that much of all the hay bales and stuff being moved, and like we don't need to see Sydney struggling 17 times. Just show it to us, once or twice, and we get the point,
Yeah.
And let's not spend. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like this episode proves my point that majority of challenge episodes could be 60 minutes and not 90. They just drag stupid
100%.
shit out to make it 90 for I don't know what. Like. I have no idea, but this episode especially could have been a 60-minute episode, in my opinion.
So watching this daily, we see a couple different strategies right off top. Theo and Adrian start off with Theo carrying 2, Adrian carrying 1, where Leo and America have like the exact opposite strategy, which is Leroy carries 1. That's it.
Well, America tried to carry 1.
He does.
And then she had to drop it, and then they had to go back. And then she
gets it together.
Yeah, and she never gives up. I will give that girl that. Even on the mini final and being in last place at the eating challenge, knowing everybody cheated, she still didn't cheat. She didn't give up. She kept going. Mm-hmm. She won't quit. So I will give her that. Oh,
I'm just making a little jokey at her expense. But yes, she has heart, and she is actually one of the rookies that has lasted this long that I absolutely want to see come back that I don't think we'll ever see back again.
True, because she hated her experience, right? We think people are assuming anyway.
Well, I think she just almost destroyed her relationship with her boyfriend.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
What was your guys' thoughts? Did you like this daily? Did you not like it? How'd you feel?
I liked it. I am of the same mindset as Corrina. It's probably fun to do. Really hard to make captivating television, within the confines of the show. More fun than some dailies. But we could have very easily had split screens and montage and been in and out in 7 or 8 minutes, and that would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed.
I really liked, again, why I go back to Jake. I really like Jake and Anissa's plan of going the opposing direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just to mess with people. It's basically the same thing. It's just to mess with people and have them not be able to see what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Or know how far ahead they are.
Well, and it worked. I mean, Leroy was not rushing because he was sure Anissa and Jake were still out there, and they were done. They finished in 6th, so it's I think it was a great strategy. I know Michaela kind of shat on it a little bit, but I think it was actually a good strategy. And I will just say, absolutely nothing against Anissa. But if Jake was with someone who had a little bit more speed, I think that they could have probably finished in the top 3 or 4 with that strategy. It just throws everybody off because nobody knows how good you're doing because you're on the other side of the fucking field,
So with this daily, it really kind of broke down to, for finishing first, it came down to Nani and Justin versus Theo and Adrian. And Theo and Adrian probably could have won this, but Theo blundered and didn't even try to climb that haystack when he probably had enough, and Adrian was trying to convince him to do it.
He would have had it.
Yeah,
he would have. And even if he didn't have it of that, just turn one of them sideways and it gives you an extra 4 to 6 inches. You can just reach up there and grab that shit and you would have won.
Look, I'm sorry. Get up there. Okay. Get up there. And if you can't reach it, jump.
Yeah.
Jump and grab it and grab the pole. Kind of like Will did. Try not to, throw all the bales on your partner's head, but
This is Sparta.
Yeah, but maybe warn Adrian, like, hey, I'm about to move, because these are probably all going to fall. But he could have easily gotten that key.
You know what? I like Will because of the calling out on the cheating. He doesn't really have a filter. He makes for decent TV. I don't like the fact that he talks out of his ass. Like when he's talking about Olivia not being a good competitor, it's like, first of all, she was the second highest of all the women competing, right? And not only that, she's doing all this right now. And I know you don't know this, Will, but she's pregnant.
No, she doesn't know either.
But she's doing all this pregnant and is still keeping up with all these women.
Well, and look, my issue, because he had this thing that he said after the daily, right? Where he says, Olivia isn't the same like endurance, like boss queen now that he saw in the elimination, right? And I'm like, bitch, she wasn't carrying fucking 50, 60 pound hay bales on her back while in an endurance elimination against Lekka. Of course, of course it's different. Like this daily wasn't necessarily, yes, it was endurance, but there was a lot more to it. Like those hay bales are heavy.
Well, and here's my thing. If you see your partner struggling, why wouldn't you help her get it on her back and then you grab 2 bales of hay and go?
It's easier to talk shit.
Yeah, I just stood there and yelled at her and it's all her fault.
And then blame somebody else because you didn't help them. It could have easily helped get it up there and then guide it if he had to. But this daily reminded me of my first job because I worked on a farm. So I know what it's like throwing hay. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I felt them on this one.
I've thrown hay bales too. It's not fun. And speaking of which,
the first one is. The second one and the subsequent ones are not fun.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But speaking of which, I just wanted to give big props to Justin and Nani. I never would have
smoked it.
Never would have guessed. Like if you would have told me it's an endurance strength competition, and Justin and Nani beat everybody, I would have thought you were pranking me. So massive props to them. Also, big props to Ashley. Her country girl came out in this episode. Yeah, she was killing it with those hay bales. You could tell that she grew up as a little country girl. So,
Nani got some dick,
and then
now she's good.
And then I also just wanted to give big props to Jeremy and Aviv because they went from second to last to third place, I believe it was, just because they switched up their strategy after the first key. And like, it just proves that having the right strategy can make such a big freaking difference in a game like this.
So communication with your partner.
Yes.
Real quick, temperature check, because I think we're all on the same page here. Were you rooting for Leroy in America or Theo and Turbo and Sydney to come in last? Because I know who I was rooting for to come in last.
Turbo and Sydney.
Yeah.
Turbo, and Sydney for sure. Mainly Turbo, but
I wanted to see Turbo versus Theo in
so
ELIM.
Bad.
I want to see it.
Leroy, dude. I don't want to root for Leroy to come in last.
Yeah. I'm sure Theo will be back down there.
And I'm just going to say this to fucking the people I see talking this shit online about Leroy. I don't give a fuck if he never wins. I want him back every season because he's hilarious and he makes good television.
Exactly.
So shut your fucking pie holes when it comes to Leroy and let that man do what he does best, which is entertain us.
Yeah, literally. Also, leave that man alone.
He just became untouchable.
There's 15 to 20 people on a given season. It's not great odds because every time you come out, 15 to 20 different people, different combination.
Let me just put it this way to the listeners. Okay. I want you to think about the modern day. Okay. Don't be fucking coming in here with CT and Bananas bullshit because we all know that CT, Bananas, Jordan, Wes are like not the norm. Okay. They're different, but I want you guys to really think about the challengers that come on that are high competitors and always looked at as potentially coming in first, the Horacios, the Jeremys. Okay. And I want you to think about how many highly entertaining moments those players give us.
Yeah.
Now imagine if we had a season with nothing but top tier competitors who aren't really entertainers. And not to say that like Jeremy and Horacio aren't good TV, but like You're never going to see them, throw on a wig and like short shorts and fucking go twerk in the middle of the house like Derek C does.
You're never going to see him get into a fight with someone like fucking Derek C does.
Yeah.
No, but you're going to see him glistening slow-mo on a bicycle.
Right, which is great
for 10
but
seconds.
I guess my point is like we need all of the things, right?
Yes.
We need the top tier competitors. We need the people who are just going to be entertainers. We need the people who are going to come in and cause drama and stir the pot. We need all of that for this show to be great. When you narrow it down and you only want competitors, now you're just turning it into a sport. And at that point, just go fucking watch football or basketball or something like that, because that's what it is. Go watch the Olympics. I don't know.
And to speak to your point, like the rookie that I want to see back the most she wasn't a great competitor. She was fucking hilarious and entertaining, and that was Blue.
Yeah.
Bring her back right now.
Week, and I literally go out of my way to go to her social media page like every couple of days because she's fucking funny. I love her.
No, 100%. So so like we were saying with the daily, Nani and Justin win. I'm sorry. Leroy and America come in last, are automatically going in. Now it's brought up by Michaela. And this is, look, I have it's not even a love hate. It's like a love and I dislike some of the moves she makes. But I love the way she sees the game because right away she's like, we should probably try to get out Jeremy and Aviv. They're going to be tough.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you fucking read this game so well sometimes.
Well, and she saw them. She started this conversation. She brought this up because she saw them standing over, huddled in a corner, talking to just Ashley, and she was like, something's not right here. And it's interesting because they're all working together, right? Like she's even working with Ashley, but there's something about Michaela's intuition with this game because Jeremy and Aviv were literally talking about how Sydney and Turbo need to go and how they need to be careful because people are going to start looking, so it's like she literally sensed it. She knew what was happening and she was right.
Well, and the simple fact is to even speak more on how well she reads the game is the fact that she goes, I don't want to get rid of Turbo and Sydney, not because they're not good or or they are good competitors, but people dislike them more than they dislike me. So they're always going to vote for them before me. And it's like genius. Top. Yep. Right. I tip my hat to you if I was wearing a fucking fedora. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But so I just wanted to give Michaela her flowers for that.
Agreed.
Going into my favorite part of every episode, which is the club scene, which is really just a closed privatized bar, but whatever.
It was kind of lacking this week.
It was.
Like.
I mean, look, these last 3 episodes to me have been lacking. It's just kind of been the same episode over and over again, just with different people going against Theo and Adrian.
Different people being targeted.
Yeah. But we get the conversation where Jake talks to Leo about flipping on his alliance. And it's like, dude, if he wasn't with Ashley, he probably could pull it. But with Ashley, it's not going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
And I think Leo looks at it as, this is my game. I like you, Jake, but I'm going to do what's best for me.
Yeah. And I totally get that. But I also do agree with Jake. Like this was the opportunity for them. They had the numbers and, I mean, they still do. I think as long as nobody, and here's the thing, nobody from Olivia and Theo's side can win or lose dailies moving forward because they all have to keep their vote.
Yep.
So they can't win and they can't lose. None of them. As long as the winner and the losers come from the other side of the house, like Turbo's side of the house, they can have the numbers at nominations, And so, I mean, it was a good plan. And Jake, in my opinion, is very right. Like you have a better opportunity of beating Theo and Adrian in a final than you do Turbo and Sydney.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
And, you and Ashley have a better shot against Theo and Adrian than you do against Turbo and Sydney every day of the week, twice on Sunday. So, but it makes me wonder if Leo ever even approached Ashley with this or if he was just like, nah, I already know what she's going to say. I'm not even going to bring this up. I'm just sure, Jake, and then move on with my day, which is what I kind of feel like happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like with someone like Ashley as well, you already know the answer, right? You already know she's not going to. So why would you start showing that you can't be trusted?
That's true. That's fair. I didn't really think of it that way.
That is a good
that's
point.
Fair.
Yeah, no, that is a really good point.
Yeah.
So
that's why I'm here.
No,
I don't really think anything else really happened at the
Even
club.
in nominations, no stakes were claimed. So that whole storyline was for fucking nothing. And then the vote, even though Theo gives a great fucking speech about how Turbo and Sydney are real threats and get some people like, okay, yeah.
Is this the only time Turbo or Theo really talks? Is that nominations?
Yeah, pretty much.
Unless he's talking to Olivia
or talking shit,
or talking to Theo, talking to Turbo, talking shit to Turbo.
Yeah. So, anyways, Theo and Adrian get nominated to go in. It'll be them versus Leroy in America, which once again sad because I like both. So doesn't work out for me well, no matter what. Getting into this elimination called Think Alike, which is basically the best way I can explain it is you have a tangerine puzzle and a merry-go-round.
Yeah.
And it never stops, and you got to solve said tangerine puzzle. You've got two of them, and you and your partner have to work on them both as you're spinning around. I think this elimination could have been vastly improved by giving them 3-second stops at every puzzle to make them actually get a chance to work on it.
It
wasn't a good elimination, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
There needed to be pauses, even if it was like at random intervals where you're spinning around and then you get stopped for however many seconds and you only have that amount of time and then you get spun around again. Sort of the same as like the milk and cookies thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it would be even interesting if they if even when you got stopped, if maybe there was a chance you didn't get stopped right in front of your puzzle. So you kind of had to stretch and you know what I mean? Make it more difficult, or sometimes it spins backwards and sometimes, you know what I mean? If they change, honestly, they just need to take this back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
They need to take it back to the drawing board and make some improvements. I think it could be a good elimination, but this version of it specifically, I was incredibly bored the entire time. I didn't really enjoy it. There wasn't any part of it that was really exciting for me. Even the end, I could tell that they were editing it to make it look exciting, but that it wasn't even really close. So this one was kind of a flop for me.
Yeah. I mean, even if they made it where they stopped and you weren't even stopped at your puzzle, so you just had to sit there and wait till it got going again, just anything to break up the monotony of it, just nonstop spinning in a circle.
Yeah. Just,
the difficulty of it, two people having to work on the same puzzle and you're constantly changing and you're like, all right, well, I have a thought on this puzzle the next time I go to it. And then by that time, your partner has already switched it all around and you got to start all over. So that part of it, I thought was all right, well, there's the difficulty part of it. But the rest of it was just very elementary, in my opinion. And yeah, it could have been done. There's so many different things that could have made this elimination so much better. And they can.
Yeah.
I think they'll bring it back eventually. They just got to go to the drawing board, like you said, Corrina.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, Theo and Adrian absolutely, they kill it. They get it done. They end up, I guess TJ ends up taking them to like a sudden death thing where you got 1 minute before it would spin again. So Theo and Adrian end up winning. This is 3 elimination wins in a row for them.
They're just taking out the fucking other side. What?
And Theo said he would. He was like, I'm going to take them all out, and they are. So I don't know, man. I'm really enjoying this Theo. I feel like we're getting a little taste of the old Theo back.
Yeah, finally.
Maybe not such a high performer in the dailies as he used to be, but he's still got that fire in elimination. He's still someone you do not want to fuck with in elimination. So big props to him. And you know what? Adrian is surprising the hell out of me. When I heard that somebody was coming on from, Married at First Sight or Love at First Sight or Meet Me at First Sight or whatever the show is, because I know there's 7 different versions of those types of things. I can't remember what it's called, but I didn't, and I made assumptions. I judged, just judged she kind of gave me I thought she was going to be more like a Siobhan. That was kind of what I was assuming. She is massively impressing me. So
she's definitely not a Siobhan. She's much more, she reminds me of a Kellyanne almost.
Kellyanne, Jenna, something, very, blonde hair, Barbie, pretty, but a badass also, so.
Also, just kind of thinking about it, if you look at the people Theo has beat in elimination, it's like a who's who of male challengers.
Yeah.
CT, Bananas, Derek K.
Mm-hmm.
Has he beat Jordan?
I don't remember.
No, he lost to Jordan. But still.
Yeah, I think he lost to... I don't remember.
He lost to Jordan.
He lost.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't the sledgehammer.
Yeah, it was
the
hammering the nails, yeah.
Mm.
So, unfortunately, Leroy and America go home. We see next time on, that's going to be a freezing water daily. Theo speaks up at Noms and puts Nani on the spot to pick between friends. So I'm interested to see how Noodle Nani is going to react.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saved this one for the last part because I think it speaks to something bigger that we heard on this, which is Turbo and Sydney seem to be in trouble again. And it couldn't be because Turbo doesn't let his partner communicate with her loved ones back home, do you think?
I don't know.
Oh, by the way, if you didn't know, it finally came out in this episode and it came out last week
All
or so,
over
social media, that Turbo instructed Sydney that she was not to call home to speak with her fiance or boyfriend or whoever, or her family.
Mm-hmm.
That
he was being extremely controlling with who she was allowed to like talk to and hang out with, even in the house. It was very reminiscent, I guess, like cast and stuff are saying is very reminiscent to
Tamara on 38
Tamara from
Ride
or Dies.
Yeah.
So fuck you, Turbo. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel bad for Sydney. And it, as much as I'm not a big fan of like her kind of attitude and ego on the show, she's still a human being and
she doesn't deserve that.
No, absolutely not. And I feel really bad that she got manipulated that way. It's really sad to think about. And you know, that sucks. That really sucks.
Just putting it out there, CT looks like a lot better partner now, I bet.
Oh, I bet. And also, I meant to say this earlier and I totally spaced it. So I'm just going to toss it in here as a closing thought. What would have happened if CT was still here for this daily? He'd had 2 hay barrels, one on his back.
He would have had 2, one on his back, his partner holding on to the one on his back.
With one on her back.
With one on her back. He would have moved it all at once.
He'd have been dragging one with his foot. Like he'd had like 7 hay bales going. No,
so before we get out of here, I want to hear, do you guys have an MVP or an LVP for this episode or both?
I gave mine to Theo and Adrienne. Honorable mention to Justin, and I'm not a fan of Nani this season, so I'm not giving an honorable mention.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
I'm not feeling the love for Nani this season.
Okay.
We're going to discuss that more in following episodes.
Yeah, maybe we'll touch on that because I'm curious as to why. Because honestly, I haven't really it's not that I've disliked her, but I haven't been on the Nani train for quite a few seasons now. But I've actually been enjoying her a little bit this season. So we'll definitely dive into that next episode. Because I want to know. I want to know
seed.
what am I missing?
Josh, who you got?
Nobody.
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 I don't blame you there, buddy.
That's fair.
What you got?
I am actually going to flip. I'm mirroring Tony's. My MVP is actually going to Nani and Justin because I was just very impressed with how they did that daily. And to me, the daily was much more difficult than the elimination. So massive props to them for that. And then I'm giving my high honorable mention to Theo and Adrienne, not necessarily for winning this elim because the elim was kind of lame, but for going 3-0 and just, standing up against the house and, they continually get backed into a corner and they're not backing down. So, props to them for that.
I take it back. Sorry. Nani and Justin, because they absolutely killed that daily. And
they
to not give them something for winning that would be bad. So I have to give it to them.
Okay. Fair.
I'm gonna go Theo and Adrienne.
Nice.
The fact that you're going into elimination every week, you're not mailing it in, you're actually still competing and knocking out the other team, regardless if the eliminations are campy or not.
Yeah.
I'm giving you credit to that. Honorable mention to Justin and Nani, not Justine.
I was like,
sorry, I was just. It happens. It happens.
Autopilot.
LVP for the remainder of the season is Turbo.
Yeah, Turbo's. And I would like to amend all my previous LVPs and just
Turbo.
Copy paste Turbo through every single episode and fuck you, bro.
Yeah. So look, as you can tell, this wasn't the most exciting episode. Not really a lot to break down. There wasn't too much going on, just storylines that didn't go anywhere.
There wasn't much we could do to make it more exciting than they made it. So we sorry about that, but we're glad we could hang out with you guys for about an hour.
Yeah.
To put it into perspective, I've never fallen asleep watching an episode of The Challenge before. I fell asleep after they announced first and second place in the elimination. I woke up long enough to know that Leroy in America came in last. And then I woke up halfway through the elimination. And I didn't feel that I missed anything.
No, you didn't.
Typically, I don't have to rewatch an episode to remember what happened. This one, I had to rewatch. Like, I had to sit there and go through Corrina and be like, did this happen? Did this happen?
I found myself scrolling a lot while I was watching the episode, which I normally don't do. So
yeah, exactly. But look, with that being said, we'll be back next week to break down hopefully a better episode. So for myself, Ricky Hayes, my beautiful wife, Corrina Hayes, for Josh motherfucking Chambers and Tony Stats and Info Lance, we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, don't worry about subscribing here. Go to Hazed Reactions, subscribe there, like our shit. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace, love, and chicken grease, motherfuckers.
Later.
See you.
Bye.